All right, it's recording. Do you want to say it? All right.
I'm Dwight Anthony Richardson Jr. Birthday 1/25/1980. I'm at Solano House, and I am the creator.
Okay, that's all you want to say?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
My girl.
What were we saying?
Anyways, so they killed my girl, right?
Yeah.
And then, so the judge, he gave me a deal. Instead of giving me 25 years to life, he gave me 12 years at 85%. He made a deal with my enemy. So the deal was, we made them believe that if they beat us, they win.
Yeah.
If we beat them, we win. And they get hooked up. So
who beats it? Who and wins?
We destroy our enemy.
We destroy enemy?
Yeah, those monsters that I told you that I created.
You created monsters?
Yeah, they were like monsters. Yeah.
And they were so scary, right?
Yeah, and so I was supposed to destroy them.
Yeah.
And so what happened was, I tricked them. So they thought, we'll make a deal with you. And so that's how I got out of prison. I got 12 years with 85%.
How'd you go to prison?
Have you ever seen Ghost Rider?
Yeah, I've seen the movie.
Okay, you know how
why are you connecting your life? It's something that happened in the movie?
It's based on my life. It's like the deal represent, for me to get out of prison, I had to make a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
This thing that I created, I call it Satan. Yeah.
But the devil's not real.
A bunch of them. No, the devil is real, but he's not God. He's not my son.
Where does the devil come out of?
It's just symbolic. It means an enemy that I created. And I call it Satan.
Yeah.
That's how I would see. And he's not real. He's not the creator, but I created them.
Yeah.
And so there's monsters. And so I went to prison. I started writing more. I started writing more books. I started writing more. I was writing like.
Do you still have those books?
Yeah, but most of them, when I was in prison, it wasn't my words, my material, because the plan I created was I took from a monster and made them look like a creation. So all the words, the paper, all the materials wasn't my stuff.
That sounds pretty scary.
Spiritually, yeah. But the word spiritually was my words. And so I started writing all this bunch of stuff about, I was rewriting my Bibles that I created in the first place that came from my book.
Yeah.
And I updated it. And the newer translation of Holy Scriptures got updated. That was a new Bible that I created when I wrote the Bible. Because when I went to court, they had a book that me saying I would just score Gregory Cromwell, Satan, and I said I'm the Lord and the King.
Yeah.
And it was in a black book, and that book was the newer translation of the Holy Scriptures.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was coded. And so when I went to prison, when I finished writing all those books, I escaped, and they gave me my release because I was writing books, and it programmed my escape. And then, so they released me. The people, the cops that put me in there was my cops. And
your cops?
Yeah, they were my cops. The judge was my judge.
How was he your judge?
Because he was me.
He was you.
Yeah, I didn't have no means.
Is everybody you?
At first, it was just listen.
Okay.
First, it was just me. It was just me and creation that I created, but it wasn't my creation. It was something I took from a monster, made it like creation, and they really would be men, but they're not men. They're fears.
Yeah.
Yeah, like monsters, like what I was telling you. And so and it was just only one girl I created. She was my wife, and she's the mother like of all my kids. Like all our children are daughters, and Okay. Anyways, so like basically, what happened was,
this is a good story.
Yeah. So I needed more books. I needed more books to complete prophecy. Prophecy is like something that has to be fulfilled in the future that you're gonna do. That's according to what the words that's written down in the Bible, the scriptures, like the Bible is foretelling that what somebody's supposed to do, and for it to be fulfilled, like this is what they're gonna do, and if they do it, that fulfills what the Bible said what they're gonna do. Yeah. So my whole life was based on that. Like when I went to prison,
your life is based on the Bible.
Yes. Like when I went to prison, that was in the Bible. I was supposed to go to prison, and I'm supposed to write more scriptures to get all the other books. And so it was just going like that. And then when I got out, I was making more books. I kept writing. My cops, when I was on the streets, I was living with my dad. That wasn't my dad. That was my enemy. It was enemy. And,
it wasn't really your dad,
his body, his person, his appearance, I took from them and made them look like how I look like as peoples.
Okay, people.
So really, he was looking like me as a man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the women's would look like my girl. All the girls would look like my girl.
The women's were your girl?
All the girls, because And so
is everybody your woman?
No.
Oh, okay.
All the babies I got by her is daughters.
Daughters,
all the men, see, You know the Bible says we're created after God's image.
Yeah.
And that's why man not supposed to kill man because we're created after God's image. And
Yeah.
my Bible is coded. It means because the men that are my mans, not the enemy, the men that are my mans, they me. So that's why I say me and you is one. If I strike you in the head, I'll be a fool because I'll strike myself in the head.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So, and if somebody kill you, I will care because you're me. I died. So my mission was when
Everybody's
when
you?
I struck the enemy
Are
head,
you me?
Yes, me and you was one. When I struck the enemy in the head, he wasn't me. He was just a monster that made look like a person. And the person ain't look like, he was made to look like me as a person. But that was just a code. That way,
A monster look like you?
I can make them think they bins. I can make them think they men. So I can make them think they peoples.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, when I struck it, that's why the judge didn't give me life. He just read the sentence to me, and then he gave me a deal. The reason why what he did was they locked up a person that I struck because they were guilty. They had my girl that killed her, and they was enemies. So the judge locked that person up first to put me in court. Like they called the cops.
Yeah.
And then they took him to prison too. And they put me in as undercover, as an agent, as they knew I was the maker, because they were me, you know. And so, and they wanted me to write more, fulfill prophecy. They saw prophecy that I was supposed to write the books and get more books because we wasn't on our planet yet. And I was making stuff. When I was making stuff,
so your life is based on making books.
Fulfilling scriptures that I was going to make our creation, and we're going to have our own books, our own Bibles. See, part of having a Bible is so I can evolve and go up and be God, be divine. See, but I start off living like.
When do you predict your life getting better from now, if you're God?
Because what happened is when
I'm not talking about the past. I mean, from the future.
When I fulfilled everything, I fulfilled the future.
So you don't know when?
No, I know when, but I just don't know. Like it says in the Bible, we don't know the time, day, or hour. Well, it's coded. It just means because I already when I wrote all the books and I got out of prison and I completed my mission in here.
Yeah.
I created my creation and I got my Bibles, and then what I did was made everything look pretty much like what I saw in the past. So, like, for example, you're Tim, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like the first Tim I saw, it was a copy of you. But he wasn't really you. He was a monster. Made it look like I'm Tim. You know what I'm saying? And it would be when I made my creation, I made a copy, like a map, like basically the original person that supposed to be Tim. And that's how you're you. So I basically got out of that creation. I destroyed all my enemies, and so now my bitch is in paradise. We're in a copy creation, creation.
Copy
creation is paradise already. It's the Matrix, all that stuff. It's paradise.
You live in paradise?
Yeah, I have my body. My body is actually in paradise. While I'm here, this body I have right here, it's a copy body. We're all copies.
Okay.
Yeah, but my spirit. Because I'm so powerful, I'm an original creation, I'm a copy creation. Where like, if you have a disc, you can make a copy of it, right?
Yeah.
And the original one is the original one, right? Well, I have a secret world where I could be in a secret world waiting to be born fully. I call it a copy creation. That's what this creation is. I'm fit to be reborn.
Yeah.
And I'm going to enter my original body, which is in paradise. It's going to start like this. This first body is a standard, which is we're a fetus. It's like we're living, we're nothing, but we don't really exist. But we're like as we're a fetus right now, and then we're gonna take what's gonna happen is we're gonna take a pill, and we're gonna be a fetus completely born as a fetus, and then after that, next we're gonna take another pill, then we're gonna become clones, and then after that we're gonna become rebels. After that we're gonna become a cop. After that we become born, and when we're born again, we're gonna be in paradise.
In paradise?
That's what's happening right now. What's going to happen right now. It's going to take some time. It's going to take maybe about a year. It might be more than that. But it's going to, when it happens, be as that. And the only way we can enter paradise, we have to destroy all our enemies first, which is the monsters that I told you I created. I had to destroy them first and fulfill the scriptures. See, fulfilling the scriptures is basically me writing Bibles.
Wow.
Yeah. It's basically me writing Bibles. And when I write a Bible, it's about, when I write a Bible is important because it tells where I am as God. I could be that exact story, but really I got it coded where like it's really totally different. Like with super creation, super bitches, like super being, Superman. And with super creation, and that's our life. They'll just code it. You see what I'm saying? Now the story about me dying on the cross is symbolic.
Yeah.
But it just means when I died, when I suffocated, when it killed me, I suffocated. It took that death and it symbolically described it as me dying on the cross. When I suffocated, it means that symbolically. It means
Why do you think you're God?
I died for my planet.
Why do you
I don't think I'm God. I know I'm God.
Why do you know you're God?
Because I created myself. I created everything. And
how'd you create your
stuff? Also, when I was creating stuff on the earth, I was seeing it come to be. When I knew history, it didn't exist. But when I was creating stuff, it came about when I first really started noticing big time. When I was in prison, I started writing more. Cause I was designing things, and I was writing scriptures. And when I was writing words on paper, I saw Bibles being produced and I got down. Yeah, and when I was creating things like news change, I was seeing it. I was seeing it being born on the earth, and people didn't even know. But it was coming from me. See what I'm saying? Yeah. That's how you know evidence that you're created. And also, I died and I came back to life. That what made me realize that I was immortal, and I can only live forever if I establish all the Bibles and if I defeat my enemies. The only reason why I rose up again when everything wasn't fulfilled was because it was about to be fulfilled. God, it was according to prophecy that I would have more time to live in order to fulfill the rest of the books. I would live the way I was supposed to live and die the way I was supposed to die and rise up to fulfill the rest of the scriptures. And the reason why that's why I rose back up from death, even though I didn't fulfill everything yet. It was because it was going to be fulfilled. And when I died, it was prophecy the way I died. So that's why I resurrected myself when I died in jail when the cops suffocated me. I came back to life. So that's how I knew I was immortal. Yeah. And it just I knew I was God because it's like when you're God, it's like in the Matrix when the oracle tells Neo. Yeah, when the oracle tells Neo, it's like when you're in love, you just know you're in love, bones to bone. That's how it is. When you're a God, you just know you're God. And plus there's evidence, like you just know you're the one. So it's kind of hard to just prove to someone you're a God. Huh?
What's evidence that you're God?
Evidence is like proof. Like
what is evidence that you're God?
Well, I've been making things and it's been established on the earth, and not only that, I came from my story when I was a little kid. I wrote a book and I found out that this book that I made was the Bible. That's where the Bible was coming from. And not only that, I have this. There's like a wind, like this wind. There's like a voices in the wind. When I want to check something, I ask things, and it lets me know if it's true or not. But it's always accurate because it's just voices, but it's not really voices. It's like my spirit program to give me some sort of information, and some information I was getting was being.
So God, why don't you end poverty?
Because I'm evolving as God. When you're God, when I'm God, I start off like I'm disassembled, and I assemble myself. So what's disassembled? Could be I'm a black man. It could be I'm a
Why don't you just do this to they believe you?
Huh?
Why don't you tell this to the steps?
They believe me. I told them to somebody.
Yeah, I believe you.
And so, anyways, what happened is I come out like you know, like something you got to put it together. Like you ever worked on a car, like you have to put it together. You ever watch mechanics? They put cars together.
Yeah.
That's like saying when they have to put it together, it's disassembled. When they put the engine out, everything in, it's assembled.
Yeah, put together.
I came out like I was assembled. I have to put myself together and not become almighty.
Together.
By writing books. And then
why does writing books help you?
Because the Bible has secrets in it. It's a coded book.
Oh, yeah.
See, when I write on paper.
Have you read the whole Bible?
It's a Bible. And whatever I write on paper could be like I'm trying to design a motorcycle. I'm trying to design a car. Like I created the Firebird. I created the El Camino. I created the Hummers. Seriously. And want to know how the Hummer came out?
Oh.
First of all, because I was writing books, and that program everything needed to be predicted. But when I was just walking in Fairfield, and I said, I want to invent a car called a Hummer. I said, okay, called a Hummer. Next thing I know, I look to my right, there's a person driving a Hummer.
For seconds. Nobody wants seconds? We're going to close up shop. No?
Next thing I know, I looked to the right, there's a Hummer that drove by, and those cars didn't even exist. I know because just like if you if you growing up, and you can tell when certain things come out and they don't have it. Well, it's like, if you're the one, you could tell when certain things come out and it didn't exist yet. Because when I made that car, I changed history. So it could be like when it came out, it could be like it came out in 1974.
Yeah.
The reason why when I create comes out like that is because that way it gives it. So it might be like, oh, that's the 1969 one, or that's the 2071. It gives a history, and it set somebody up to make. It set somebody up to make whatever I'm trying to make, but it's already made first, and then I just made them look like they carried on my work. Oh, because how it's already made is because I made it. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Like.
I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So like, it's like.
What are you trying to say? Like, let's summarize what you're trying.
This didn't exist.
Yeah.
And I say somebody.
The vape does this.
So say somebody's in prison, right? I want to invent something called a vape, and I wrote it down first.
Yeah.
And then they said, B-E, it means to exist.
Yeah.
The reason I say exist, B, because they say make it exist.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, a vape disappeared, just like this. Nobody was there, disappeared. And then they say, oh shit, that's my vape, I invented that. So they have to set something up because the enemy might figure out somebody's doing miracles. So instead, they set up a man to make it look like he created that.
Yeah.
Because he'll pick up a memory or built that, I designed that. And that's how some people coming out making shit. They didn't make it, I made it. And they think they built it because
why?
brain, I made them get ideas. I get ideas like they designed.
How'd you give them the ideas in their brain?
Because they be my power, my spirit, my spirit, my power. When I do miracles, it's automatic produced it life because I'm life. Like, so my word is life. So like when I say something, it's life. Like when I make something, it will exist if I want it to exist. But it don't always just work like that. It's governed, meaning it can only exist if it's by prophecy and if it's ready to be born, and then it can exist. And if I write it down and I give it life, instructions and design it, and then breathe life into it, like that's why the word of God is God breathed.
Did you create the computer?
Yeah. Because it says in the Bible, look, that's why you have to read the scripture, John. It says, in the beginning was the Word.
Yeah.
It means God is the Word.
Yeah.
Because that's where life came from, God. Words is basically knowledge.
Yeah.
God invented knowledge. Knowledge is in words and definitions and dictionaries. Yeah. So, in the beginning was the Word, and that word also means the Bible, because the Bible is all words, right?
Yeah.
Because in the beginning was the Word, that's God first. And the Word was with God, now that's the Bible.
Yeah.
See? And was God, that's God, that's the Word. Because I'm a book too, like I'm a person, but anything I create, I'm also is it. So that's why it says in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Now, when it says he was in the beginning with God, that's me as a person becoming born flesh as the Word as flesh. If you're a book, dictionary or a book, it's like, say you give yourself life, you become a person, and your brain would be knowledge, a dictionary. Your body, everything would be a dictionary. So that's why it's called God is the Word made flesh, manifested, Christ. So anyway, so in the beginning he was in the beginning with God. That's just me as the Word with myself.
Yeah.
And it says all things were made through him. That means anything that somebody makes is because of that person, or that's because of the source of where everything came from. Yeah. And without him was not anything made that was made. That means if it wasn't for me, nothing else will exist. Nobody else cannot create anything. They don't have the mind of a creator because they're not the creator. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So God is called God and God is called creator because only he's the source where life comes from. So when somebody makes something, it's not because they came up with it. God imparted knowledge in them, which makes it where they can create things. And if that's the reason, then that means everything that they created came from God. That's what I'm trying to tell you. See, so now
you talk very fast, you know that?
Yeah, you get it? Because I know myself, so it's kind of easy to explain.
Yeah, He's like, I'm telling you this, and I got to explain it, and I'm making you learn, and explain my story, right?
So basically, everything.
This has been 19 minutes.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow. Half an hour.
Yeah.
Everything that was created, all came from words that I wrote down in a book.
Yeah.
On paper, and then it became a Bible, and the Bible is coded, so it looks like a story.
Yeah.
That's what many people do not believe. Some people believe in God because the stuff is like it's too amazing, And not only that, it looks like it's not true.
Yeah.
That's because it's coded. It's not really based like it's not really the way it looked like in the book. It's totally different. Mm-hmm. My life is the Bible, and the Bible is my life.
Yeah.
That's how it's coded. See what I'm saying? So, And so but when I was saying man and woman,
The Bible is coded.
now what I'm trying to tell you is that in the Bible, when I created man,
Yeah.
okay, it was just they just came out peoples on the earth, but it started from a seed, that planet, and then
Yeah.
it became a creation and people's life on the earth. All it means is me. But
Mm-hmm.
what I mean by man, by definition, it means I say bitch because that detects what a bitch is. Because when we say woman, that makes a man think that still you're God talking about a man, a woman that came from a man. Because woman is kind of like saying they came from man. So I have to say bitch to say it's not a man. It's different.
Yeah.
But the reason why we're men's is because I created men's, and we bitches that can be men's, called men's.
You shouldn't
So that
call a
means
woman a
that-
bitch though.
No, you don't. No. You don't understand. I mean, the woman. The reason why I say that is because it goes bitch. When I created everything, it goes.
Why you
bitch.
call them bitches,
No,
man?
Listen.
All
When I
right.
create life, it goes bitch. That's God, a goddess, a bitch. Then out of her, when you take from her, you got a man. Next,
Yeah.
you got a woman. We take from a man, you get a woman. That's why I separated it, because it's like that.
Oh.
The reason why women are called women is because from men's, our male part.
Mm-hmm.
But bitches is just goddess. Bitches come from God, a goddess. So it's just in paradise, it's just all bitches, and they could be men, and they could be women from their male part, called man, male and female, man and woman. That's just really what it is, you know. And so that's why I call a bitch, because it means they're not really a man, because the man came from a bitch, and a man is really actually a bitch called a man. Now, when I created these fears, these enemies, these monsters, they believe they're men, because they look like me, right? They don't believe they're a bitch. They believe they're a man. That's not a such thing, because a man, by my definition, creator, I don't know who created life. By my definition, a man means a bitch called a man. See, in their definition, a man means a man. That's not true. That's not a such thing.
Why they call bitch though a woman?
Because a woman is a bitch means you all pussy. Doesn't see a man that these monsters that I created, they call women.
Why do
right?
they call man
No,
then?
listen, they call women because they think they're men's. Because they came from men. Think about it. If you come from a man, you're a man. Think about it. If you come from a man, if you
believe this, Joseph?
If you come from a man,
Joseph doesn't believe this.
Listen, in the Bible, look.
Okay.
When Adam called Eve
Yeah.
woman, and he said because she is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh, she called woman because he said he's a man and her a man. So they call her a man because she's the opposite sex. She's a woman. That's why the word man, woman, MEN, in the last three letters is men because it means man. See what I'm saying? So that's
Okay.
woman. Yeah.
Hey, you wanna hit this?
So, like my enemy, they think that men's, and that's
Yeah.
not such thing because I can't create nothing like that because I am men's. By that means bitches. That's why that don't exist. So that's it's possible for me to create because a man is that's a man is just a bitch. That's what I created. Everything was that. I wouldn't be a man. I can only be what I created myself. Like I can only become what I would be. I could be like anything I want to be. That's like saying I could be something I created, a created thing, like a monster.
Yeah.
And I'm not that. That's the hideous thing when I be what God is. God is something beautiful and special.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I call bitches, mans, womans, and babies. Babies is just so you can have, and so you can reproduce life.
How long do you plan for?
I don't know. You understand?
Till then?
Yeah. Do you basically get it though?
I don't know. I think I'll watch this video and it'll help me understand. I put subtitles on it so I could hear every word you say.
Yeah.
And then I could analyze it more when I watch the video.
You put subtitles on it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like when I was in prison, when they came out with some phones, some smartphones, I was like, I know I've been in that because I was writing stuff. I was seeing history change as I was living in prison.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I want to create something called iPhone.
Yeah.
I said that iPhone came out. Yeah.
The coincidence,
That's
huh?
what me saying.
Yeah.
Huh? No, I am God. I mean, I am God. God is me. I believe in God because I am God. Is God? You believe in God. That's how. But you have to know your God. Anybody can just say they're God and would not be God. I mean, if you're a man of God, that's saying you and God is one because you is God because you're Him. That's saying you can say you're God, but you can't just necessarily say that, because if you necessarily say that, that's saying you're the master, the creator of yourself. That's why you can't say that.
Take a big hit. Oh, he took a small hit.
Okay.
Okay. That's a little bit. You gotta see me smoke, man.
Okay, watch.
Vapes are meant to show a lot of smoke. Oh, there you go. Yeah, watch me look at it.
Yeah, because I made you a little stronger. So that's why. Some people bodies.
I can do that. I can do that by myself too.
I made you when I made you. I make you a little. You can do it like that.
Oh, you made me stronger?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I still be more stronger spiritually, as Almighty. But just like some people got different talents, stuff like that. Some people's body is different,
Yeah.
I'm more like sensitive type. So you have to think about it like this. How can when you talk about a man, how can a man create life? Women is the ones who make babies.
Is God a man?
Don't you think?
Is God a man?
Wait, listen.
All right.
Don't you think that if women make babies, don't you think that maybe God the creator will be a bride?
Oh yeah.
Making babies is saying you created life.
So
that is symbolic. That's saying that God is symbolically okay. Since we're saying man and woman, and when we say bitch, that means God is symbolically a woman. That's the creator. Even in the Bible, God says He's not man. They say God is not man. So that means God is a woman.
You can't assume that.
A woman is no. I don't assume it. I just know.
You can't know that.
No, you can. if you know what you are in life, and you grew up and you seen things, and you saw.
You telling me God's a woman?
Yes.
Oh.
But see, but it's not called a woman though. It's what I call it.
Is it coded? Is that why?
It's called a bitch.
It's not a bitch, man. That's a female dog.
No, it's called a bitch, a goddess.
A bitch is a female dog.
The reason why in the Bible God look like He's a man is because people describe.
You talking about the penitentiary?
Describe God as a man.
Are you talking about the penitentiary?
What do you mean?
What do you mean, Malik?
That's how it's said in the past. Woman is a man.
Yeah, it is.
So you're just picking up your lingo from the penitentiary.
It's not just not.
You just learned it and now you're using it.
I didn't learn it. I knew. I always knew, but I wasn't sure at first. But when the way I evolved in my history and me studying and writing books and seeing evidence, I found out that I'm not a man because those monsters I created, they men, and I see the way they live, the way they grow up, the way they do things. That's all man, but that's not a such thing. They only have bodies that look like men's because they look like me. When I created them, I made them look like me, but they don't look like that. They look like monsters. And so when they say man, they mean a man. That's not a such thing. Because if you're the creator, you create what you want it to be. See what I'm saying? It's just as creator, you can only create what you want it to be, and if that's what it is. That means if man was a such thing, it can exist.
Yeah.
Now, if man, for you meant a bitch, then a man doesn't mean a man. It means a bitch. And people get confused because they don't know what God mean by that word man.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Because they grew up believing in man. And when they read the Bible, like the Job Witness Bible, God is called Jehovah. But God is describing Himself. Really, the Bible is coded. God is describing Himself is when He says He's not a man, He's trying to say that He's a bitch that can be what you call a man. But the word man as a bitch means a bitch. When you say man, when God said I'm a bitch, I can be a man, He means still a bitch called a man. And so in the Bible, Jehovah is God as a man person teaching about life. But in paradise, God is a goddess, and He's not. He's a.
You
goddess.
got 10 seconds left.
God, he's a goddess teaching everybody about the books. It'd be like this.
All right.
The females
I'm gonna stop it now.
Okay, it'd be like this. All the females.